Welcome back to Mad Genius. I'm Ariel Kashanchi, and I've had a fun time week this week. It's been nice. On Friday I had a portrait session with my cat, which was really quite a charlatan, and you're going to hear this word a lot today. Quite a charlatan experience because, and I should have known. I got this ad on Instagram where it said, do you want to take a free a portrait with your cat? And I was like, of course I do. And they're like, you get a 14 by 14 image that you can, like the printout. They don't give you the file, but they give you the printout. And I was like, great. So, and you have to dress black tie. And so I had to wear this dress, this like that I wore to a wedding. And you have to wear heels, you have to do your hair, which is why my hair is kind of straightish right now, because I attempted to blow dry my hair. I don't really do my hair that much anymore. I try to go natural, but in this instance I did. And anyway, my point is that I get there and it's like, it's got a John Roberts Powers feeling. And only people from the 90s will understand this reference. John Robert Powers was this modeling school. They would come, in my case, they would come to your school. Let me fix that. Okay. They would come to your school and they'd be like, we're going to teach you how to be confident and how to behave properly. It was more like an etiquette thing is how they presented it, and how to like present the best you and everything, and everyone can be a model. And you then go to a meeting with the modeling the salesperson, and it sounded pretty amazing. Like I was all in, except of course my mother would not pay for that. I was like, you learned to cross your legs? You're supposed to cross at the ankles, not at the knees. But if you cross at the ankles, you're flashing people, depending on how short your skirt is, of course. But I don't want to be flashing people. I cross at the knees. But it also shows my cellulite, so it's like, nobody wins. You either flash them or you show them your cellulite. And I'm choosing to be a polite lady and just show them my cellulite. Anyway, we get to this place, and the photographer, you can tell, hates his life. Hates his life, hates his job, hates the fact that he has to work with a cat right now. He was like, okay, he was the kind of hateful where he didn't even try to, he was at the stage where he's like, I'm not even going to try to be nice. Usually they talk to you through gritted teeth, where they're like, okay, yeah, all right, okay, now go ahead and smile. Then he was not even, he didn't even, he was at, okay, smile now, okay, good, tilt your head, okay, your cat seems agitated. It was like that, where I was like, oh, you really hate your life. And then they like served me a tray of like snacks. They're like, while you're waiting for them to make the selects. I was like, this is all so strange. Why do they need to make the selects? And I was like, how long is this whole thing going to take? They're like 2 hours. I'm like, why? Can I leave and come back? And they're like, no, that's not how it works. So basically there was like a timeshare feel to it. Very John Roberts Powers. And we did the shoot. They made the selects while they served me a tray of water and snacks, like a silver platter, literally, of water and snacks. Not great snacks. It was like Cheez-Its, but still, the snacks were served. And then I go in and it's the sales pitch. And it's so, I love a well-crafted sales pitch where they have spent hours practicing. You have to have them emotionally connect. Emotion. They're not going to spend $8,000 on a fucking portrait if they don't emotionally connect to it. That's because that's what the price is. That was like one of the highest prices. It was in the thousands. It was so ridiculous for a goddamn portrait. So she was like, what feeling do you want this to evoke for you before we go and make your selections? I was like, I don't know. I just want to like the photo. She's like, no, but I want it to be gorgeous and I want it to be confident. And I was like, okay, me too. And like everything that she said, I was like, I don't know. I guess like whatever you do, these questions are weird and I get what you're trying to do. And I'm not, even if I had the money, I would not, this weird portrait studio is not going to be where I'm going to spend it. Like, then she starts showing me all the finishes and she's like, this is the kind where the eyes follow you. So somebody hand paints the eyes that follow you wherever you go. And I'm really proud of my cat because she totally cooperated and came out beautiful in the photos. And that's really what matters, because ultimately I walked away with only what's free, which is a 14 by 14, which is all I need in terms of portraits. And that was my portrait shoot. I realized something about my cat, that she's not affectionate. She's not an affectionate cat. She doesn't like to come. She will never sit on my lap willingly, but of course I force her to. Like, it's non-consensual snuggling is what it is. But she loves getting like pets, and she loves getting her bum tapped. And I realized she's just a receiver. Like, she's like one of those people that, like, in bed would just be receiving and not giving. That's the kind of lover that my cat is. And I'm just like, and I'm like that slave type that's like, oh, I'm obsessed with you. Of course I'll do whatever you say. Kiss your beautiful little bean toes. Of course I will. I'll brush your bum. I don't care. That's the kind of relationship I have with my cat. Oh my God. I got a tip from an Uber driver this week that I must share with every human being that I meet. So if you ever run an offense, like if you're ever doing something that would require you to get pulled over, and you see a cop that's about to pull you over, before they turn their lights on, you have to park and get out of your car, because then you could say it's that you say that you've arrived at your location, something like that, something that you've arrived at your destination and they can't come after you. Now, is this true? Is this something that's really valid? I don't know. But my Uber driver told me, and I felt that I needed to share that with the world. Okay. So there's a new trend where employers would rather hire AI than Gen Z. Well, I mean, not only is AI free, ultimately, I mean, they have to pay for the system and everything, but it costs a lot less than a human being. But Gen Z, you don't have a great reputation, man. Like, people see you as lazy and weirdly antisocial, and like they're considered the least reliable, and they have the most mental health problems. Yeah, like that doesn't sound very attractive as an employee. Not to me, certainly. Okay. In Hong Kong, it's what? I can't even read my own handwriting. In Hong Kong, it's illegal to smoke. So people are encouraged to stare down smokers. So in Hong Kong, because it's illegal to smoke, if you are smoking, passerbys are encouraged to give you dirty looks, to look you in the eyes and try to make you feel uncomfortable, as if that's going to stop you. That's how polite Japanese people are. That they were like, we don't need to. In LA, are you kidding? If it was illegal to smoke, people would come up to you, pull the cigarette out of your hand, and burn you with it, probably facially, and then be on their way. But in Japan, they give you a dirty look. That's just, wow. They're so civilized. I really admire that. In Hong Kong. Okay. Democrats are being urged to not talk like press releases. This was on Pod Save America. I guess Democrats tend to talk like everything sounds rehearsed, whereas Republicans are very aw shucks and folksy. Although what was his name? The football coach that was running with Harris, Tim something, whatever his name was. See, it's so funny. It's for a moment, their name is all you hear all day long. And then you never remember them again. Do you remember Dan Quayle? I don't think so. I don't think many of us do. Oh my God, I went to the spa this week. It was so nice. It's this place called Glen Ivy. It's in Corona, which is in an area called Riverside. Riverside is kind of a methy kind of place. It's known for toothless people. But, so the crowd there was a little, right now, I'm at my fattest, where I've gained a lot of weight, and I don't like the way I look in a bikini at all. But over there, I felt like a supermodel. Let's put it that way. In LA, I would feel like a hippopotamus. But in Corona, supermodel. But they have this mud pit. So you go into this mud pit to this kind of area. Well, there's a big pit, blob of mud, and you grab blobs of mud and you put it all over your body, and then you go into the section and you bake, and you kind of bake the mud in, and then you go rinse it off, and then you go into a sulfur spring, and then another hot spring, and then another hot spring. And then I went into this thing called the grotto, which is you go into this grotto and they paint you with these moisturizers, and you have your bathing suit on the whole time. It's not like the Korean spa where you're butt naked. This is here. You're seeing everyone's bodies. A lot of faded tattoos out here where you're why not just remove it? Why, if you're not going to get it touched up, if you're not going to maintain your tattoo, why do you leave it blurry the way that you do? I don't understand that. I don't understand this lack of tattoo maintenance in Corona. Oh my God. And we stayed at this hotel the night before. It was called the Mission Inn. And according to my therapist, this was Reagan's favorite hotel. It felt like a castle in the 1800s that hadn't been renovated since the 80s. And so, it was one of those things where it could have been really cool if they, leaned into the kitsch. But they didn't. They need to hire me to come in and consult and turn them into something else. Okay, so I think this is one of everyone's favorite congresswomen, Lauren Boebert, the one that's known for giving a hand job in a theater. She's very anti-trans, and she went into the ladies' room, saw a woman in there, mistook her for a trans person, and screamed at her for being in the ladies' room. It was just a regular cisgender woman. And I mean, Lauren Boebert of the Theater Handy, she really, the fact that she's a congresswoman tells me that anything is possible in life. You can be whoever you want to be if this woman can be a congresswoman. And finally, I'd like to share something I'm thinking of doing every week, the charlatan of the week. And this week's charlatan is Mata Hari. Mata Hari, I don't remember how long ago this is. This is in the days of black and white photos. Like, it was a long time ago. She was this woman from the Netherlands who came from a wealthy family, and her father made some bad investments and they lost all their money, and her parents divorced, and they sent her to go live with like some uncle who was like not interested in raising her. So she answered an ad in the newspaper to marry some guy that was twice her age who was in the military. And he took her to what's now Indonesia. And she lived there with him and had 2 kids. And he was abusive and he cheated on her. So she was finally like at her wit's end. And she's like, enough is enough. And she left. And she didn't have any means of supporting herself. So she moved to France and she decided to create a new identity. And she told people that she was a Javanese princess because she had taken some Javanese dance classes back in Indonesia. And she would do these dances, and apparently she wasn't actually very good, but she just was very confident. Like, I love the confidence of a charlatan. They know that the product that they're offering is absolute garbage, but they don't care. They act as if this is the cure to all. This is the panacea. I just wanted a chance to use that word, and I hope I pronounced it correctly because I tend to mispronounce things. Anyway, back to Mata Hari. So she renames her real name was like something not so exotic, like Margarita, but she renamed herself Mata Hari, and she was like this famous courtesan. And which is interesting that like that's kind of like being a big OnlyFanser these days, you know, a courtesan. To be a famous courtesan back in the day is the same thing as being an OnlyFanser today, a big OnlyFanser today. And that's what Mata Hari was. But she was approached. I think she somehow became a French asset. She became a French spy. And she was ultimately killed by firing squad for espionage, something like that. Or when she was outed as a spy. But it was an interest. I found her to be an interesting woman. I mean, she created a whole new identity. She was from the Netherlands, and she said that she was from basically Malaysia, Indonesia. Like, she was an Asian. And I think if Mata Hari can con her way into being the world's top courtesan, you can too. And I want all of you to be inspired by Mata Hari, as I am today. And so, thank you for listening. That was today's episode. I will see you next week. And please like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, leave a review. You know, any of those things I really appreciate. Give the video a thumbs up. That would be nice. Thanks, you guys.